And I don't know, I don't know if people are gonna love me, hate me for this perspective, but I think it's a dialogue that we should have. So culture. Hip hop is a culture, period. Like Harris once said, rap is something you do, hip hop is something you live. So if that's the case, how could hip hop be born on a single day to a party started by a single person? I don't truly believe that's how we define culture. Like, while one person can definitely influence or even initiate a cultural change, culture is a collective. It's a collective creation shaped by many individuals and their interactions over time, right? It was already started before that because it took all of the other creations of music and language and prose and all to create this culture. And it's not a product. Hip hop is not a product. It's not like a uh, uh, an invention. It's not like here's an iPhone. All right, this iPhone was released on this date, so that's the birth date of the iPhone. We're talking about attaching it to a party, not even to a record, right? Maybe if it was like a record and said, "Oh, this is the first," yeah, you could say that. But then what was happening before that? Before they got in the studio, you understand? And so I don't understand why we're trying to put a birth date to it. I believe hip hop is the most authentic expression of our modern human experience. I also believe that the each of the pillars of the culture are direct correlations to our earliest forms of communication and self-expression, right? You look at before we had language, we had hieroglyphics. That's graffiti. We used to play drums, right? And communicate like maybe it's like there's the rain drums, here's the war drums, here's you know what I'm saying? Like here's celebratory drums. That's the DJ and the producers. We used to dance to tell our stories through movement. That's the B-boy and the B-girl. And once we had language, we had the tribal leaders, the shaman, they were the orators, the MC. And what were they sharing? What information was all being shared? Knowledge of self. This is who we are. This is where we're from. This is what we do. That's the formula of hip hop. So to try to put this onto one person to create, again, an idol, a false idol, which also creates distress, dissension, hostility, right? Because, oh, now you're up here and I'm down here, right? Which creates division. This brings us back to today's mathematics. Now, do we want to destroy our own culture and allow them to tell our story and tell our narratives? Like, for instance, again, don't go back to celebration. And this is why I keep reiterating celebration. We have to celebrate this on our own. And by creating a birthday, it takes away the celebration of a lot of other people that contributed to the culture before that date. And events. There's a ton of events that led up to that. And again, The City of Hip Hop is another book we should probably read. Um, that one, really says like New York and that time, there couldn't have been another place where hip hop could have been born. But again, even in the book, there's all of these things that led up to it, things that were happening in politics, things that were happening in specific places in the city, things that were happening with the communities. So we can't say this one party started it all. Another part with this story, the graphic that they used for that birthday party, and I really wish we can get this fact checked. I was told that that graphic was made up for a T-shirt for the brand Cedric and Cedar. But that actual graphic wasn't a real flyer. I want to I need to see proof. Like I want to know if that's legit. But that's crazy if it is, right? That we're celebrating a false narrative. Now, why would somebody do this? Why would we put that there? Divide and conquer. I believe this is all part of a systematic approach to just keep us divided, right? Once you hand somebody that type of label, right? There's gonna be people that are gonna want to challenge that. There's gonna be people that are gonna say it's not true because that's only one person's perspective. It divides us in a way that is just a perpetual argument because there's no way to prove this shit. Plus, how are we gonna say hip hop was born in 1973 when nobody called it hip hop until when? Later, 78, I think, 77, 78, 79, right? And again, this is from somebody that's speaking that grew up in the culture, but I wasn't there. I'm not from New York. I wasn't there in the beginning. I'm not old enough. There's so many reasons that we should not acknowledge a singular date as the birth of hip hop. So I really believe that they are putting this in place to keep us divided, to keep us fighting, because we can't prove it. We'll continuously be arguing about this shit. Every time that date comes up, we're gonna talk shit about it. Somebody's gonna be upset. Somebody's gonna be out talking about a video that this wasn't true and it wasn't that. But the issue isn't negating that date specifically. The issue is that we can't come up with an official date because, again, hip hop is not a product. It's not a person. There's no birth certificate. There's no production and manufacturing facility that came out of it. So you could say it was done on this date. It took everything leading up before to start this, and it's still. So again, my thing is that hip hop is not a product. Hip hop is an evolution. Period. Like it wasn't created, it's evolved from us living life. And the reason I believe they're trying to separate us on this is because one, obviously started by, black people and people of color. They don't want us to control it because if you look at the influence of it, our influence is almost immeasurable. If we were a cohesive culture that accepted everybody that has contributed and participates with positive intention, you will see we are the global diaspora. That's why I always say we got to take our eyes out of this. You go to a party and there's hip hop and it's real in there. It does not matter what you look like until there is something to debate and until there's drama or some type of drama to create. I just saw, I think Chuck Schumer is trying to put a bill in place or something to expand the celebration of hip hop History Month or whatever it's called in November. Who came up with that, right? My point is, again, I want to celebrate this culture. So it's not about the celebration. I'm wondering why they came up with this and when, right? Just like, okay, you can only celebrate Black history in February, or Black music in June, or Black businesses in June, or like, so you're telling me the only time we can celebrate is when we're told, when it's on a calendar? And think about how many national days, National Hot Dog Day, Hamburger Day, Cheeseburger Day, fucking Smashburger Day. They're giving you days upon days to tell you when to celebrate, to a point, just like GPS, just like our phones. You're not thinking about it on your own. You're waiting for an alert on your phone to be told when to celebrate. Now, celebration, gratitude. Gratitude is part of the celebration. Celebration can be part of having gratitude, but gratitude is definitely part of the celebration. That's what we should be starting with, is gratitude on our own. Gratitude because we have the opportunity to know this culture as well as to participate with it and contribute to its evolution.